Hey guys, I am just making this video because I wanted to let you know um, a little bit about myself and my story, where I come from, and a little bit about my childhood so that you can get to know me a little bit better. Um, let's see, I was born in California. My mom and dad were pretty young when they had me. My mom was 21, and I think my dad was 27. And so they were together until I was about 3. Um, then they got a divorce, and me and my mom, who was pregnant with my brother, we moved to Arizona because that's where my mom's sisters and my grandma lived. Um, let's see, when I was growing up, Um, my mom was never in a good relationship with a man. Um, I saw my mom get physically abused by almost every person she dated, and pretty much every single guy that she married. I think my mom was married 3 times or 4 times. I'm really not sure. um, I think I like black out a lot of my childhood because it wasn't the greatest. Um, since I'm 4 years older than my brother. So since I was 6 or 7, I've been pretty much taking care of him. My mom suffered from addiction to drugs and alcohol, and um, my mom and my dad were both in and out of prison my entire life. So, since I was little, I have been pretty much taking care of him, making sure he was fed, and I think I was babysitting by the time I was like 7. I was home alone with my brother. So, I had to grow up fairly quickly. Um, I remember always getting like the power warning, like your electricity is going to get shut off, your water shut off, all those like final notice bills on the door, and having to call my grandparents in California and ask for money or something like that to pay for them. Um, let's see, I was in elementary school and middle school. School was my escape from my house. I enjoyed going to school. I enjoyed playing softball, soccer, basketball, um, because things in my house were never good. Um, I always had to, see my mom on drugs, or like all her friends would be at our house, and I would lock myself in my room, or um, take my brother like out of the house. So sports and school were my escape until I became a freshman. Um, the summer, my 8th grade and my freshman year, I started dating a guy that was older than me, and I think he was like 17 or 18, and I was right out of 8th grade. And my mom let him move into my house my freshman year, and that's kind of I had like a 4.0, the National Junior Honor Society, all up until 8th grade, and then that summer, I don't know what happened. I started drinking and smoking weed and stealing, and I just kind of went crazy. I never went to school. I think my GPA went from a 4.0 to a 1.0. Um, Almost didn't graduate, and this pretty much lasted up until my junior year. I lived with my mom, and then I knew if I stayed I wasn't going to graduate high school because I was on probation. Like, I've been arrested like 5 times. So my senior year, I chose to move to California and live with my grandparents because I know that they would be strict and hard on me and make me go to school, and that I do respect my grandparents for working so hard all their life, and I look up to them. Not to say that I don't look up to my mom, but at the time, I didn't really, there was no way she was going to tell me what to do and that I would listen because she herself wasn't doing the right thing. And Kingsley's here, so you want to say hi. But even when I moved to California, I did go to school every day, but I kept drinking and partying. I think at one point I lived in my car for 3 months, um, and then I moved back to Arizona, and I lived with my grandma. And my mom, she passed away when I was 20. She had got arrested with her boyfriend, and while she was in jail, I think like coming off the drugs and the severe depression of like realizing like, oh crap, she committed suicide. And so I was 20, and that was really hard to understand. It still is really hard to understand um, how she could really be that, like do that to me and my brother. Um, but I'm okay now. It's something I have to deal with every day. Um, so she always wanted to be a grandma and would always ask me when I was going to give her grandchildren. And I had always said, like, that's not going to happen, as I only really cared about drinking. I was drinking like a half gallon of vodka a day, driving around with it in my car, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Um, I was doing cocaine like a crazy person. And then I met my husband now, Nicholas, and we were actually neighbors growing up in the same town. We lived 2 houses away from each other. Only he's 6 years older than me, so he did not know who I was by the time I was in high school. He was in college. So we met like after school and in Flagstaff. So we started dating, and then after dating for 5 months, I was pregnant. And I was 12 weeks pregnant with Kingsley. And so that day that I went into the doctor's office, the doctor was like, "Oh, you're pregnant." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, no, I'm not. Get out of this room right now. You're lying." And she was like, "No, I'm not lying." And so I started freaking out, but I knew that I had to do the right thing. And so even as soon as I left that doctor's office, I threw away my pack of cigarettes, and I never smoked another cigarette again the second I found out I was pregnant. And so that's pretty much when my life changed, was Kingsley. He saved my life. And so during my pregnancy with Kingsley, I wasn't healthy. That's for sure. I made Nick get me Del Taco every day at 3 in the morning. I gained about 60 pounds with that pregnancy, and I had the hardest delivery. My delivery with Kingsley was harder than it was with Kason, and Kingsley weighed less than Kason. So that just shows what the eating part of that did to me during that pregnancy. But so after Kingsley was born, I did start going to the YMCA and doing spin classes, but I was still like, I would go do a spin class and then go eat Wendy's. And yeah, I used to eat Wendy's. And we moved to Phoenix. I worked as a chiropractic assistant for like, I think I worked for like $7 an hour. And we were behind on like our rent, um, like 2.5 months behind on our rent, trying to keep up with everything. I was going to the food bank to get food. Um, I had WIC and food stamps, um, but I did everything I could to make sure that Kingsley had everything he needed and that our power never got turned off and that he wasn't going to I did not want him to go through what I went through as a child. So I made it my mission to do better than what I was doing. And I have been working my butt off at whatever job I have to be the best that I can be at that. And I came so far since we moved to Phoenix. We've been here for 5 years, and we just bought our first house in February, and I got married last year, and I got a car on my own, which is like unheard of in my family, to get a car by yourself without your grandma co-signing for it. So I know that I'm doing the right thing. And I currently work at Gore, which I love, love, love my job. But I also started coaching because when I found Beachbody through my cousin, who's my coach, it really changed everything in my journey. So I was almost 200 pounds. Let's see, Kason is going to be 3 years ago. I was 198 pounds. And I've lost 60 pounds since then doing the Beachbody programs. And my husband has lost 80 pounds doing them. And so the results that we have gotten from the Beachbody programs made me want to share with people that they can do it too. Anyone can do it if they want to change. It's crazy the results that you can get from any of the programs that suit you the best. The other reason I wanted to coach is because coaching had probably saved my relationship with my husband. When we were overweight, we were unhappy, and we had no sex drive. Who has sex drive when you can barely go to the store because you're so tired? We couldn't really communicate about how we felt because we were embarrassed. And now all of that's different. We can talk, we have confidence. It completely saved my marriage. And so I know that like I can relate to people, and I hope to really help and inspire moms and wives and anyone that I really can. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I know some of you already know me and grew up with me and know my past, so you know how crazy I was and what a difference it is for me now. So sorry, I'm nervous. I don't really like to talk. Public speaking is like not my thing, so this is really hard for me. But I hope you guys enjoy and have a good day.